presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Atiku Abubakar, criticized the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu over the remark about the 2023 elections. Tinubu had, in a proclamation, claimed that his media aide Frank Shaibu accused All Progressive Congress (APC) flag bearer of hypocrisy. Tinubu had earlier on Tuesday reprimanded the violence reported in the 2023 general elections and called for recovery and reconciliation in the country. He said he was saddened by the reported isolated infractions during the election and its aftermath in some states and strongly condemns it. Also, the report of arson after the announcement of governorship election results in one state that did not represent who we truly are, peace-loving people. The physical and verbal aggression committed are unacceptable and unethical to democratic ethos. However, in his response, Atiku argued that the president-elect's latest proclamation was laced with hypocrisy and falsehood. According to NAN, the National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal in Akwa Ibom State has received 15 petitions on the election of February 25th as of Wednesday. The petitions were filed by All Progressive Congress (APC), the Young Progressive Party (YPP), the New Nigerian People's Party (NNPP), the Labour Party (LP), and the Allied People's Movement (APM). The Electoral Act 2022 permits 21 days from the date of declaration of election results for petitions to be filed and 21 days for respondents to file their response. The tribunal secretary, Ibrahim Usman, told journalists in Uyo on Wednesday that 11 petitions were on the House of Representatives election, while the remaining 4 were on the Senate elections. He said petitions on the senatorial elections were obtained from Akwa Ibom Northeast and Akwa Ibom South senatorial districts, while no petition was received from Akwa Ibom Northwest district. The secretary also said that the tribunal had granted 2 activities filed by YPP to inspect election materials. Similarly, an application by the APC in the respect of governorship election for the examination of election materials was received and granted by the tribunal, he added. The tribunal has yet to begin sitting. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, (SERAP), has urged Professor Mahmoud Yakub, chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), to urgently designate an independent counsel to investigate allegations of electoral violence and other electoral crimes, including bribery against any state governor and their deputies during the completed general election. The Labour Party presidential candidate in the February 25th election, Peter Obi, has stated that Nigeria has a lesson to learn following the emergence of 37-year-old Humza Yusuf of the South Asian descendant as the Prime Minister designate of Scotland. Yusuf, whose family traces their ancestry to Pakistan, will make history by becoming the first non-white head of the Scottish government following his election as leader of the Scottish National Party on Monday, March 27. Yusuf's father was born in the Pakistani city of Mianchanun in the country's sprawling Punjab region that borns India, while his mother was born in Nairobi, Kenya, also to a family of Punjabi descent. They both migrated to Scotland in the 1960s. A graduate of politics from the University of Glasgow, Humza joined the SNP while he was an undergraduate and advanced through the ranks of the party, becoming a member of the parliament in 2011, the first Muslim and the first non-white cabinet minister to serve in the Scottish government. Reacting to the development on Twitter, Obi stated that in an organized democracy like the one practiced in Scotland, character, competency, capacity, and compassion, rather than ethnicity and religion, form the basis on which credible leaders are voted into power, and this is a lesson for Nigeria. protest by some of the Abuja residents and some from other parts of the country, it is known fact that they have been protesting to express their dissatisfaction over the conduct of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in the just concluded governorship and House of Assembly election around 28 states of the Federation. The usual place of their gathering to flag off their protest is the Unity Fountain, but this time around, the protesters decided to convey at the Ministry of Justice, where they got attacked and robbed by mobs who couldn't be identified by the protesters. Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC) says in less than 3 months, the country has registered 784 documented cases of Lassa fever, with 142 demises across 23 states. The NCDC, via its official website, said the infections were registered from January 1st, 2023 till date. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that the Lassa fever is an acute viral hemorrhagic fever caused by the Lassa virus. The NCDC said in epidemiological week 11, the number of new cases documented dropped from 70 in week 10 of 2023 to 38 cases. It said the cases were reported from Edo, Ondo, Ebonyi, Bauchi, Taraba, Benue, Rivers, Plateau, and Nasarawa states. It is said cumulatively from the epidemiological week 1 to week 11, 142 deaths has been reported, with a case fatality rate of 18.1%, was lower than the 18.7% case fatality rate for the same period in 2022. POS agents in Abuja expresses their ordeal about being misjudged by Nigerians who feel exploited by the charges they demand after transaction. They equally complained that they passed through a lot of struggles to get attended by the bank operators, and they are equally being overcharged by banks, which leaves them with no option than to make it up the masses, else they will be completely out of business. Due to the lack of enough cash in circulation, internet transactions seems to be the only choice of Nigerians instead of an option, with other means of withdrawal and transfer via other means such as POS and mobile bank application transfer. This is in line with the steps taken by the Central Bank of Nigeria to enable Nigerians adapt to the new cashless policy. But the taxi drivers in Abuja expresses their dissatisfaction over this development, claiming that people take advantage of them and the new cashless policy by giving them fake transaction alerts, which makes things more difficult for them. Just 4 days after the commencement of the holy month of Ramadan, the less privileged in some areas of the FCT finds it difficult to get food from the usual places they receive alms, food, and drinks. And this has led in the increase of number of people trooping to the national mosques in the central area of Abuja. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday approved the appointment of 6 new permanent secretaries in the Federal Civil Service. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday approved the appointment of 6 new permanent secretaries in the Federal Civil Service after the newly conducted selection process. Dr. Folashade Yemi-Eshon, the head of Civil Service of the Federation, made this known in a statement in Abuja through Muhammad Ahmad, Director of Communications of the Office of the HOCSF. The Lagos State government has declared compensation for victims of the wreck between a bus and a train conveying staff of the state. In a statement on Tuesday, the state promised to employ one employable child of each of the dead victims of the accident and a concessionary scholarship to one of their biological children. This was after a 9-member committee set up by the state in the aftermath of the casualty of March 9 submitted its report. The statement says, findings of the report showed that the accident had 6 fatalities from a total of 102 passengers concerned, with 85 passengers on board staff bus, while 17 were on the train. The committee, as part of its recommendation, advised death benefit from the group life insurance for the family of the deceased, provision of employment of one employable child of the deceased, and a concessionary scholarship to one of the deceased biological children. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) Osun State urged All Progressive Congress (APC) and its candidates in the 2022 governorship election, Alhaji Boyega Oyetola, to abide by the decision of the Court of Appeal that reaffirmed the election of Governor Ademola Adeleke, rather than considering another appeal. PDP advised Osun APC and Oyetola to conceal the hatchet, congratulate Adeleke, and unite hands with his government in the state to move Osun State forward. ATM machines are seen flooded with people on long queues all over banks in the FCT. It will be recalled that the Central Bank of Nigeria last week ordered all banks to operate on Saturday and Sunday just to meet up with people's demand for cash. But despite this attempt to save the situation, a lot of ATM machines don't seem to be dispensing enough cash for residents to meet up with their daily needs. And some of the ATM machines are completely or temporarily out of service. Most of the people who queued on for a long time expresses their frustrations. Magistrate Court judge in Salka Mangana local government area of Niger State has been fired with immediate effect by Niger Judicial Commission Commission. The judge was sacked over alleged gross misconduct and abuse of judicial power. This was made known by the secretary of the commission, Abdurrahman Garafini, in Mina on Wednesday. Garafini stated that the decision of the commission was taken at the commission's 136th meeting on March 21st, 2023, after consideration of the recommendation of the Justice Mohammed-led committee set up to look into petition against the judges. According to Garafini, out of 7 petitions, 3 were against Iya, 2 were sufficiently proved by the petitioners, and the judge unequivocally admitted the allegations brought against him. He demonstrated that the report indicted Mohammed Bako for setting aside his duty in the judiciary by representing and protecting a suspect, Bala Idris, from detention by the police and the court. The secretary revealed that he was also indicted in a second petition over the alleged use of power of his office to intimidate and collect the sum of 400,000 naira from Fulani herdsmen whose cattle destroyed his beans farm. It was further discovered that Mohammed Bako was a judge in his case and used the instruments of his office to facilitate a gainful benefit for his personal interests and private affairs. Hence, the NJSC approved the committee's recommendation and terminated the respondents with immediate effect. Armed robbers have attacked the national youth leader of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Dayo Israel, in the Maitama area of Abuja. The incident happened on Monday evening. Israel took to Twitter to share his hellish experience with his followers in his tweet. He disclosed that his car was broken into and his belongings, including his ATM cards, token, and bags, were looted. The robbers also ravaged the glass of his car before exiting the scene. After the incident, some Nigerians speak on the level of insecurity, especially on vulnerable vehicles. Shiite protesters stormed the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, asking President Muhammadu Buhari to lift the travel ban placed on the leader of the Islamic movement of Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim al-Zakzaky. They are believed to be the disciples of the Shiite leader. The protesters demanded the release of the international passport of al-Zakzaky and his wife, Malama Zina, for a medical trip. A federal high court in Abuja earlier Thursday had nullified an application filed by Sheikh Ibrahim al-Zakzaky asking the Department of State Services to release his passport and that of his wife.